I'm with Robert Norsberg, who's the president of the Independent Insurance Agents of Palm Beach County. Robert, I've had this question for a long time. What's a flood?
Well, a flood in Florida is water rising from the outside of the building coming into the house or building from any source.
I always, as a real estate agent, encourage all of my customers to get flood insurance. But what does it really cover? Let's say there's a hurricane.
Yeah, there are conditions during a hurricane that could be covered by a flood insurance policy. Well, if the water comes in and the building is not damaged from the hurricane itself, the water rising could be considered a flood.
What if a pipe breaks in my house?
Well, pipe breakage is covered under the standard homeowners, but it's not really a flood. Even though your house might be filled with water, the whole building was not impacted from the outside coming in by rising water.
Okay, let's say my neighbor's house has a pipe breakage, his home is flooded, and it floods into mine.
Well, the federal flood policy is really specific, and it says that the house itself must be damaged by rising water from any source and impacting another property. So therefore, in that scenario, it's possible that that could be considered a flood claim.
Now, some of these criteria changed after Katrina.
Right. After Katrina, there was a big battle during the hurricane and flood problems they had, and it was determined that both sides, both policies would pay under certain conditions. But we usually leave that up to the claims adjusters and legal people to decide what claim goes under what policy.
So if someone says, I don't want to pay for flood insurance, what is he risking?
Well, he's risking the possibility of having a claim denied. We encourage everybody in the state of Florida to buy flood insurance. So it's a very important part of any homeowner's policy.
But it's not really part of the insurance company's coverage. This is mostly federal coverage.
Correct. Most flood policies are written through the federal government. And the standard homeowner's policy does not cover flood. So you would need a separate policy if you're interested in flood insurance.
Another scenario, let's say there's a water main break out in the street and your house is flooded and no one else's.
Well, no one else's, but in that case, it could be a flood claim as well because the street in front of you was actually impacted by the flood damage.
So once again, you, as the president of the Independent Insurance Agents of Palm Beach County, encourage everyone to get flood insurance.
Correct. Every place, every parcel, every house in the state of Florida is in a flood zone. Some are in a high hazard zone, some are in a low hazard zone. But flood insurance in the low hazard zones under the preferred risk program is very cheap. Pennies per day would cover your house up to $250,000.
And I think the water's rising right now, so make sure you have flood insurance.
Thanks.